Sometimes the discovery of your inner superpower and your true path, it's more like an excavation than it is like a straight, flat path. And that was me. My discovery, my aha moment stretched over years. It covered awakening, it covered activation, and then finally I was able to build that path forward. The awakening was my discovery of the power of presence. You see, hidden in my personal history was this lifetime history as a medical intuitive. I didn't know that that was what it was called. I just knew that I could talk to people, I could be in their presence, and I said, hey, Mom, you know what? This person has this, and this going on, and they're going to be in this situation, and da-da-da-da-da-da-da, and the parents are like, oh, God, she's doing it again. And I kept doing it, and then I realized that it was creepier for my parents when I was right. And when you don't have anybody around who's that kind of weird, you get the message that maybe I shouldn't be talking about this. So I shoved it back in the corner. It was hidden, wasn't to be disturbed, or so I thought. I was doing my neuroanesthesia fellowship one year. It was just a random day, and then we found out that we were going to have a special visitor the next day. It was His Holiness, the Dalai Lama. He was in town to give a series of lectures at the main campus of Washington University in St. Louis. He also had an interest in the brain. I was doing anesthesia for a seizure surgery the next day, and he came to observe in my surgery. We had no idea when he was coming. We just knew that he was going to be there. I knew when he came into the whole surgery suite because I could feel him. He had a whole wave of peace and love and joy that traveled before him. There were very small windows in operating rooms. There's no way for you to see, but I knew when he was there. And all of a sudden, all of the waves and bumps in that operating room just kind of smoothed themselves out. I kept working. I kept doing what I needed to do. And then I looked, there was an glass observation area over the surgery set, over the operating room. And there he stood in his saffron and maroon robes with his enormous guards. I mean, these are the biggest people I've ever seen. Good grief. He's a little tiny man. There he was. And I was like, okay. Everything went well that day. The patient did well. The surgery went well. We kind of left that day on just a wave of happy and everything else. And I discovered that day the energy and the power of personal presence. It also started an inner journey for me. I started with, what is this all about? And I started practicing yoga. I developed a meditation practice. I did a lot more questioning. I also did a 200-hour Hatha yoga teacher training course. And about this time, it was obvious that I was no longer able to deny my medical intuitive skills. So I had to learn to work with that as I practiced medicine. Activation is 15 years later. Wasn't thinking about any of this. I was an anesthesiologist in rural Washington. I was a yoga teacher, taught yoga before work. I had something that disrupted my whole life, my career. I had a ski injury. I was doing bad things on double black diamonds downhill. It's a lot of fun when it was good. I knew that I had a lot of preparation to do to get ready for the surgery. I did mental preparation. I did physical preparation. I also worked on my mindset, and I decided this is going to go well. Not going to have a lot of pain. I'm going to recover. I'm going to be back on the hill in as quickly as I possibly can, and things are going to go well. I envisioned the outcome I wanted. I picked the team I wanted. I picked the type of anesthesia. Everything did go well. Surgeon remarked on that day, wow, everything went well. I'm like, oh yeah, it did. Everything went well until about 3 nights into it when I woke up in the worst pain imaginable. And I was there, and I wasn't taking a lot of narcotics because I was like, yeah, no, not going there. I just said, I don't know how this is going to happen. I am not down with this whole pain situation. It needs to leave. It needs to leave now. Pain was here. I said, needs to leave. It started leaving. It traveled up my leg and over, across my torso, and around to the outside of my left elbow, and was gone. I was like, okay, cool. Didn't really know how it happened, but it happened. No one could explain to me what had happened. Not my yoga teacher, definitely not my surgeon. No one could explain. It was only a year later when I took my acupuncture course and I learned about the Chinese meridian system that I figured out that the pain left along a Chinese meridian and out through a control point. I knew nothing about Chinese medicine. I knew nothing about acupuncture when this happened. And that got me thinking. I'm like, wait a minute. All I did was say, I want this to leave. And I was just definite that it was going to leave, and it did. So I discovered the power of intention. This got me thinking about a lot of things. The time that I took to heal after that surgery led me to say, well, what am I doing this? Do I really want to keep doing this? Do I really want to keep working 72 hours a week and getting up in the middle of the night to do anesthesia? I took some time off. I took about a year. I went and I did research down in California that was related to anesthesia, helped develop a new sensor that they were using for pulse oximetry. And I took some time to figure out how I wanted to live my life, because that was a wake-up call. I found out during that year that knees are really interesting. Structurally, they're hinges, they involve, this is how we move forward, this is how we move through the world. Spiritually, they represent flexibility, humility, and support. And turns out knee pain and injury, that's representative of the body nudging you to pursue and pause and reflect on your life and realigning it in your direction. So I was like, oh, wasn't just a bum knee messing up my ski season. So I was like, okay. But on my return, I really held true to what I was doing. I reduced my hours. I cut out the night call. I focused on quality of life and well-being over work. I wanted to live a sustainable life when I had time for self-care, time in nature, yoga, and my new passion, which was Afro-Brazilian dance. I was a lot happier. Fast forward another few years to 2021. I was still looking for a path out of anesthesia. I did not have a clue as to what I would do. I just knew that I'm kind of done with this and I'm ready for what's next. And it came in the form of a friend and nursing colleague who had been with me at this rural hospital, who told me that the surgeon was now using my techniques, my recovery, my rehab process to inspire other patients. Had not a clue. It was also at the time when I watched innumerable women coming into my operating room, taking care of everybody else, taking care of the work, taking care of the family, taking care of this, organizing this, and then getting into the operating room, and it was deer in the headlights and lots of tears because they didn't take any time to prepare themselves. No intentions, nothing, just fear. So I did my hurry up 5-minute look, let's do some breath work, let's do some intention work, let's do some focus. Envision the outcome you want rather than the fear that you've got about what's going on. Unsolicited, I started hearing from the recovery room nurses, whatever you're doing with your patients, keep doing it. They get out, they do well, they are focused, they know they're going to have a good recovery, they know things are going to happen. They're empowered, they're energized. So this was how I found out that my little work that I thought was, kind of weird, intention, focus, following my intuition, meditation, this was something that I could do something with. I'm like, maybe this is something that I can make a business out of. So that's exactly what I did. Business went nowhere because I didn't realize that I needed a lot of help and a lot of assistance in organization. I got a business strategist. I got some messaging work. I found out about entrepreneurship, and I tried it again. Things started happening in the course of writing social media, doing newsletters, meeting people, and hearing the same thing. Why didn't I know about you when I had my surgery? Finding out from so many women that nobody's listening to them. Nobody wants to do this. Nobody wants to hear what you have to say. And I realized that's like, sorry, we're 51% of the population. We are the majority. You must listen. You have to take care of us. I decided that I was going to change things after my 28 years of anesthesia practice. I was going to tell people, you know what? You know what we're forgetting here? We're forgetting this, and we're forgetting this. Connecting the mind, connecting the heart. The synergy of modern medicine and traditional complementary techniques in meditation, that's where it's at. That's how we're going to change things. Because it's all well and good to do a great surgery on a body part, but if you haven't inspired your patients to focus on the outcome they want to receive rather than the fear that they have, you're not going to have as much success. So sometimes it takes a while to get to that point. It certainly did take me a while. And back in December, I quit the anesthesia gig to do this full time. It was a huge decision, but it was also time because I realized that I could spin my wheels forever doing anesthesia as the main gig and energy business as the side gig. But energy is all what it's about. Finding your intuition, tapping into your intuition, that's what it's all about. And until you can look within yourself, not what other people tell you out here, look within yourself, that's how you find your superpower.